What is going on, guys? Bearded Brix here with another weekly update. Last week we did not have one. I was waiting on some Bricklink orders, and as you can tell, we have bricks now. I had ran out almost completely. There just wasn't enough 3s and 1x2s to kind of make the buildings work. All I had was bigger ones, and I had to order bricks. We got all the bricks in. As you can tell, we've got a bunch, and then we've got the windows. So I will be continuing to be building on the city. You will see some of kind of what the center is going to come out to be. I'm waiting on some white plates to get here to finish the building on the back section. On that back section, I've got to put in some windows, and I got to do about 2 more floors on one of the buildings that's white, and other than that, the back section will be done. So I know I promised that I would not start this, but I did start the middle section. I had some ideas. I looked up some things online and came up with some really cool kind of, I guess, hidden items and hidden Easter eggs that I wanted to show, and I think I nailed it on this. So in the city we have Stark Tower, which is the the main Iron Man attraction. Then you have the Empire State Building, which is the big falling apart, Spider-Man's always there and everything else. We have the comic book store, and then we have a couple little stores and stuff like that, but nothing else really screams Marvel Comics or just comic book in general. So one of the things I have done is in this section, I have made every building have something to do with Marvel Comics, telling some origin stories, and just having some pure fun with comics in general. The time lapse I will be playing in a little bit is not the final build. I did redo it again. I kind of realized after doing some research that there were some details that I wanted to add. The buildings just look bland, and like I've said before, I look at the other side of the buildings and all the other stuff, and it just kind of looks like the buildings are flat. They weren't, none of them really had anything popping out in the front or any kind of true detail. So in this section, I have added a lot. Doing this does make me really want to go back and redo the center section and the center buildings. That might still happen. It might be a thing that I go through and just knock out really quick and see if I can add just pieces here and there to redo the fronts of the building and make them look like they're more detailed. None of the buildings in this will have any kind of interior except for one, and I will get to that when after the time lapse is done and I kind of explain why I'm doing it. In this section, one of the things I really wanted to include was the fact that the Daily Bugle came with Daredevil. Daredevil, in my opinion, is one of those comic book characters that just gets overlooked. He doesn't have a lot of fame with him. He's not very popular. Even though that Netflix done, the series with that, and then he has had his own movie, he just isn't one of those characters that sticks out. I know he has a huge fan following, but it just not for me. Growing up, I did read Daredevil, and one of the things I loved was Frank Miller writing it. It was very, very dark. And one of the coolest things about Daredevil, in my opinion, is the origin and how he became blind. I have included that in this mock, as you will see, and I think it's going to be portrayed really, really well. I will need to get back on Bricklink and do some more orders. I ran out of the olive color, and I do need some more of the dark red to continue building up on some of these buildings. I want these buildings to be about 4 to 5 stories tall. I did also section the buildings down in size. That is also one of the reasons I want to go back and rebuild the other side of the city, is because one of the things I done was I tried to stretch it too far, and then you're just adding plates and plates to kind of equal up a size, and then it really throws everything off. I can also go back, and when I do that, if I decide to do that to the rest of the city, I can redo the way that the buildings are built and add some more scenes and stuff in there. Like I said, the really only big thing that I have going on with the other side of the city right now is the breaking of Aunt May's apartment with Doc Ock stealing the Spider-Man costume. So let's get right into this time lapse. Let's see what I've done, and then we'll do some explaining. show you what I did build, I do want to let you know that these are all the baggies that I have went through, and I just continuously bust through these things. It's amazing how quick pieces go when you order them. I have sat here and I have ordered countless times hundreds and hundreds of 1x2s and 1x4s and 1x6s, and it seems like they just disappear so quick. When this build is done and it gets taken apart, I am going to have so much inventory that me and Mark got together and we talked about we might open a Bricklink store. It is going to be hard to let a lot of those pieces go. I do feel like I kind of need them for future mocks and stuff like that. Like I've said a couple videos now, I do have a mock already planned for after this is done. One of the things that I am going to be doing in the process of all this is building it on the studio. That way I have a very good idea of the pieces I need. That would have been a huge help in doing this mock. That is one thing that I will say to everybody, and one thing I didn't really listen to a lot of the other YouTubers and a lot of other mock builders say is, you know, they always say planned out. None of this was built on studio. None of this was planned out. You can tell in all the time lapses that I wing everything. And it might have cost me money on pieces doing that, but I feel like that's the way that the creativity comes out of me. I feel that if I build something just like the Empire State Building, I'm like, well, I can do it this way better, I can do it this way better, I can do it this way better. And the same thing would happen to me if I did it in studio. If I built it in studio and then transformed it into an actual set or an actual building, I always, might find a way to change something to the better of me. And that is what I'm going to continue to do. I know a lot of people we've been commented on, and it's like, oh, well, you're building this and it looks like you're really confused. And it's because I'm 100% winging all of these buildings. I have none of this planned. I might have an idea of what the building is going to be, but what it looks like, I have no idea until I start snapping the pieces together. And that is a lot of creates confusion, and it might create a lot of things where people are like, you're not doing that right, and I would do it this way. But as long as you have fun doing it, just remember, you're doing it your way. Don't listen to anybody else. If you have any kind of creativity that you do things in a certain way, do it your way. Don't subdue to everybody's opinions. Here we go to the next section. The next section, unlike the rest of the city like I've talked about, all of this is based on comic books. One of these buildings is not really a Marvel theme, but it is a major stamp in the comic book history. We're going to start with this building. This building is coming into the Nelson and Murdoch law firm. This is where Daredevil works when he's not in his disguise. He is Matt Murdock. He's a lawyer. With that being said, one of the things I wanted to create and not differ from this, and I know this isn't where it happened, but the way that the Daredevil origin goes, as a kid, he was outside of a building, a forklift gets out of control, it hits a barrel, and it splashes radioactive stuff into his eyes and enhances his ability but destroys his vision. In the back of the building, I have created this. One of the things I have got to do is come up with the character. I'm going to put a kid back here to show that, but I have said countless times before, none of the minifigs are added into this section yet. I'm going to put him somewhere into here where the radioactive spill is. You can tell the container is busted open. I've got a forklift I'm going to build and put back here, but I also need to buy some more of the tiles to fill this in. That is one thing I'm going to do with the city over there, is go back and tile some of the exterior in the back of the buildings to show a little bit more detail. And then you can kind of see I've created a scaffolding up top for them to walk around and kind of show. I'm going to put some figures up here also, like some normal civilians that work and just kind of are in awe at what happened. Then we come around here to the next building. This building right here is going to be Fisk Industries. I know that in the comics and everything, it is a massive building. This will have a couple more tiers than the other buildings do, but I'm not going to make it anything major. Like I said, these probably won't have any interior in them just because you won't be able to see anything. And I'm going to build this up and show a Kingpin scene at the top of the building. That will have interior in it, but the rest of this probably will not. Also, one of the other reasons I did decide to put Fisk Industries right here and Daredevil right here is they have a major storyline in comics that never really goes away. It's one of Daredevil's best storylines, and in my opinion, I know Kingpin was created for Spider-Man, but it really shined in the Daredevil story. Then we come to this. This is the building that has a major stamp in comic book history, but has nothing to do with Marvel. This right here is something that I started and wanted to do is immediately when we started talking about Easter eggs and everything else. When you think of New York City and you think about comic books, and there's a lot of people that might not, but most people immediately go to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's what I wanted to do, was create them a pizza restaurant. So this is a pizza place. It's going to be ran by them. This building down here at the bottom will have an interior, but the rest of this building probably will not until I get to a little higher floors. I'm also going to throw a major Easter egg into this building as a kind of like a joke, and it will be on the next floor above this. But like I said, I do have to get some more dark red pieces. One of the other things I try to do with this building is I try to make the front little symbol kind of look like Shredder's head, his mask that he wears. I thought that would be kind of funny. I do have to get still the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle minifigs. I do not have any of them yet, but all that is to come. Other than the major towers like the Empire and the Stark Tower, this section right here is one of the ones I'm most proud of. Like I said, seeing this and seeing how it looks really makes me want to go back and rebuild all the rest. I might do that and then just create like a big timeline of it and just, you know, kind of show that how I'm rebuilding everything and adding more detail. This right here in this section is how I think the entire city should have been done. I shouldn't have tried to stretch the buildings much bigger. If I wanted to do them bigger and wider, I should have kept it in all where it was really easy to use the same size base plates, and I didn't do it. This, and to me, when it's all together, will have a much cleaner look. One of the things I do still hate while I'm doing this is all of the sidewalk and everything to have to use the road plates. I just don't like it. I feel like it's kind of a huge waste of space. I would have a lot more open space on this if I were been able to use all of the base plates. But every time I do a section, I'm killing 16 studs wide and 48 long that could be used, but has to be there for the road plates to work correctly in the way the city is set up. Hopefully by next week I'll have more of this dark olive color to continue building this up, and the dark red will be here. These are probably going to be all about, I'm thinking this one's going to be 3 stories high, this one's going to be 3 stories high, maybe 4, and then this one's going to be about 5 or 6. I want this to kind of tower over more. I want it, because like I said, Fisk Industries was a major building. Next section that will go over here on this side of this will be where the building that the Disney Plus kind of thing goes on, where I build the WandaVision, the Loki, and all that. All those minifigures did come in. I will be showing those at the end of this video and giving a huge shout out to a fellow TikToker that we have been involved with, and give him a big thanks for everything he's done. I have to say that now that I have all the minifigs, the expensive, part of this for no reason is done. I just have to worry about the bricks now. That means that this will come together a lot faster. There's really no rhyme or reason to how long it should take. It all depends on how fast Bricklink orders get here and how many times I run out of parts. Some of the minifigures we will be using in this mock. These are the ones I told you about. I did get a Wanda from WandaVision before she becomes a Scarlet Witch. I do have a Vision from the show where he kind of dresses up in the Halloween. And then I also, from the same episode, have the Halloween Scarlet Witch. Those will all be used inside of the building that I'm talking about doing with the Disney Plus, along with Agnes, and I do have her dog Sparky from the show. One of the other figs that I have for this set that Disney Plus gave us, it's not really going to be in the Disney Plus tower, is I do have White Vision. White Vision was introduced in the WandaVision series, and I will be using him in the mock also. Then, to go along with some other movies they've released, I have a couple Black Widow figures, and I have the Black Widow helicopter, but I went and bought the Red Guardian. The Red Guardian came in one of the sets that was a San Diego Comic-Con type thing that got released. We tried to buy it, couldn't buy it. I looked at the set. I really don't care to have it. I just wanted the minifigure, so got the minifigure. A really cool figure that will be put in here is I got the old school Ghost Rider with him on a bone horse. We're just going to put him running in the street somewhere. He won't have a scene or anything else going on. But it does look really, really cool. And to continue on with our Iron Man, I have Iron Man, one of the Mark 1s. I have the one with him wearing the Infinity Gauntlet where he snaps his fingers. I have the one from his Mark 47, and I also have the one from the Infinity War where he has all of his kind of like contraptions and everything else that he uses with his weapons. Things I talked about was I needed a Loki, so I do have a Loki for the top of the Stark Tower, and I did get another Loki that I'm going to be throwing in somewhere. You know, you can never have too many Lokis. I also am going to try to see if I can't find somebody that has done a custom minifigure for Loki from the TV show. I would like to have him in here somewhere also. Next, with all the X-Men characters I bought, I have all those Wolverines. I couldn't go without getting a Sabretooth, and I did get another Deadpool. I think you know, you can never have enough Deadpools. And I did get the Deadpool dog. They custom made this, and I thought it was really cool looking. He will be thrown in there somewhere as a joke probably, but you know, the more minifigs we have for the city, the better. Next up is some random characters. I did get Doctor Strange to throw somewhere in here. I will probably be doing something with him to where like a building looks like it is turning like it does in the movies. I got Shocker. I'm going to put him robbing a bank with a Spider-Man scene. I have a couple of the minifigs from the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I didn't have Drax, so I got Drax with his jackpack. I also got Yondu, and I don't really know where I'm going to put him, but I got an Ebony Maw. We're going to throw him somewhere in the set. And then last but not least, we got the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut will be thrown in, crashing through a building. He will probably be somewhere with the X-Men. He's not going to be with Spider-Man, but I think we have a lot of the minifigures that we're going to need to do this now, and I'm ready to make this look awesome. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, to like and subscribe. Keep up with the city build. I'm going to be continuing this and probably put another video out sometime this week to make up for the video I didn't do last week. One of the things I might do is go ahead and start the next section, since I have some of the color for different buildings and stuff like that, and then just leave this section, and then when the pieces get here, get back to this. But all this will be done here in the next week or two, hopefully. Keep watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe. See y'all later.